Hey everyone, Catherine here. It has been a full month that I've been living out of this truck camping setup. So I thought that for today's video, I want to talk about how things are going so far, what's working, what's not working. At the end of the video, I want to share with you whether I'm enjoying living out of this setup or whether I regret it if I want to continue. We'll talk about all of that at the end. But I want to show you sort of how things are going as they are in use now. I know that this kind of a space isn't for everyone. It's a small space. I'll let you know what I think about living out of this tiny space. By the way, this is a brand new truck. I purchased it at the end of 2024. It is a 2025 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD Duramax diesel with the Allison transmission. Yeah, that's the whole thing. And so this is all pretty new to me. This is first year traveling in the new rig.
For those of you who are new here, for the past 3 years, I have lived full-time out of my 21-foot travel trailer. This year, I wanted to try traveling fast and loose in just my truck with a camper shell, without the burden of towing my trailer for all of my travels.
The entire back of the cab is used for storage, so we'll start there. What we have back here is a 12-volt refrigerator. When I did the initial truck tour, I did not have this yet. It is a 12-volt refrigerator. However, one of the things that is not working out for me with this setup is that my truck, this brand new 2025 Chevy Silverado, does not have a 12-volt charger. It does not have a cigarette lighter charger. It doesn't come with it. You can have it installed after the fact, but it does not come with one. So I have only been charging this refrigerator with solar. This is the battery right here. Solar plugs in right here. And that has been working out actually. The good news is it's been very sunny here in Utah. It's been very little cloudy days, so my solar has been working out fantastically. That is one of the things that has been working out. And yeah, it's been keeping this refrigerator charged. This is a 30-liter refrigerator. It is a Anchor Everfrost refrigerator. They sponsored me several years ago and I got this fridge from them and it's been working out great. It is a little bit small, so on days when I get groceries, it's kind of a Tetris situation trying to situate everything in here, but it has been working out great. This other stuff here, it's a lot of my camera gear. This is a large tent that I have as a screened-in tent. It's a place for rainy days or days where I don't want to be cooped up in the back of the truck. Maybe when it's mosquito season, I can hang out in there. I have set it up once and it was awesome. I was able to use it as a changing room at one of my camps. And it is supposed to live up in the storage box up top, but I got lazy and didn't put it back up there, so I just threw it in here, and that's the reality of how things go. So yeah, the fridge is working out great. Let me show you the inside of it. I can hold the lid of the fridge here up on my ceiling. It hooks in right there, but unfortunately I have to be very careful because it has slammed on my finger right there. Down here inside the door, I store all the cables for the fridge, so if I am able to plug into AC at a campground or something like that, or if I do find myself able to utilize 12 volt, I have the extra cables here and also my solar cable, which unfortunately I smashed in the window. I like to keep the fridge here, and so what I normally do is run the cable through the window here and set my solar up right here on the ground. And unfortunately one day it was super windy. I had it cracked and I had the cable in it, and I accidentally rolled up the window on the cable. It tore it out from the connector that plugs in right here, so I just had to tape it up, and it's working sort of, so I'll probably have to get a new cable. I have to jiggle it around a little bit, but it's working for now. All right, moving on to the passenger side. The passenger side is a little bit of a catch-all, but it's mostly a pantry. This is something that has changed from when I did the truck tour. When I did the truck tour, I had spoke about keeping all of my food items underneath my bed. My whole kitchen setup was going to be under my bed. On second thought, I decided I really don't want my food items where I sleep, and because I have the option of separating them, I went ahead and decided to keep all the food items here in the cab of the truck. It's all in airtight containers, and that's been working out. It is a mess back here, but that's real life. I thought about cleaning it up before I shot this video, and then I thought, nope, I'm gonna keep it just the way it is because that's reality. And these over-the-seat bags I have used exactly as I intended to use them. This one has my bulky items, sweaters, jackets, rain gear, and the one on the other side holds my laundry. Those have been working out great. Believe it or not, I also keep my Starlink back here as well as my solar panel, but I'm utilizing both of those things right now, so more on those in a bit. As you probably noticed, this is a big truck. This one is definitely taller than my old Chevy Silverado. So getting into the storage box on the roof required a pretty large step stool, but it does work. So let me show you how this works. Just line it up with the tire here, and that way I can step on the tire as well. And voila. In the storage box, I keep all of my backpacking gear, just gear in general, tents. That big tent is normally up there. I also have an awning that I purchased so that if it's raining or if I need shade, I can just attach it to the back here. I have not set that up yet. That's something I haven't had to utilize thus far. I can also access the back of it by standing here on the tailgate. I can open this up. Makes it pretty easy to reach the items back here. And it does also open from both sides. This is a Thule Force, I believe it is, large storage box. And before we move on, I have utilized my cab office and it works absolutely great. I will insert a shot of that here. My kitchen setup is pretty basic. It's just these two tables. I have a single burner Coleman stove. I did mention in a previous video that I was not a big fan of it. If the wind blows the flame at all, it doesn't really get too hot enough to cook your items. I did have a viewer send me a wind guard, which I have not picked up yet. I'm excited to check that out. But in the meantime, I did not even think of this. Another viewer, a patron, sent me a photo of someone utilizing the case as a wind guard. So I have been doing that in the meantime, and that's really helped. So if there's no wind, it works pretty well. But when there's any wind, it is not so great. I used to have well, I still do, but I don't have it with me, the old green Coleman camp stove with the two burners, and it does have a built-in wind guard. And that thing is a beast. It's heavier though, and that's why I didn't bring it. This one's really light and it's easy to use inside the back of the truck if I want to be inside making my coffee. It takes up very little space, and that is one thing I do like about it. For water, I just have this 7-gallon blue jug. That's been working out just great. And I did purchase a 5-gallon propane tank. This uses butane. It does not use propane as well. So I don't need it for that, but I do have a Mr. Heater Buddy, which I'll talk about in a minute. And I purchased this to use with that so that I didn't have to utilize the little green bottles, but I rarely used the heater. I have used it on several occasions, and I did still have some of those little green bottles. So far I have not used it. Also, it does require having a tube that goes from outside inside, and I don't know that I want to have the back open and a cable running through where little critters can just use it as a highway to get into the back of my truck. So I have to figure out what to do about that. But so far I haven't needed it, and I'm glad I have it because I'm sure that I will utilize it. I have just a cheap collapsible sink that I use for dishes. That's been working out just fine. Haven't needed anything other than that. And as far as trash management, you probably see a trash bag down there. If I'm out boondocking in a place like this, what I'll do is at the end of the night, I will store the trash up in the Thule storage box. I keep all my food put away in airtight containers. I keep a very, very clean camp. I have had problems with rodents in the past. I have PTSD when it comes to rodents. So I'm extra paranoid, extra cautious to make sure there is no food around. I make sure all the tables are wiped down. I wipe down everything. And so far, so good. Fingers crossed. So far, I have not cooked in the back of the truck. I am avoiding doing so because, again, I want to avoid having critters wanting to get back there. On very windy days, which I have had several of them, I make something very simple like a salad or a sandwich, something that I don't have to cook. Otherwise, I cook outside. Most of you probably recognize this. It is a Starlink satellite dish. Behind me, you see my solar panels. So let's talk about how I power this whole unit up. In my travel trailer, I have a pretty sophisticated solar system. I have over 600 watts of solar on the roof. I have a 2,000 watt inverter. I have 2 large lithium batteries. So power in the trailer is generally not an issue. Out here so far, things have been working out pretty well. I have this Bluetti AC 180 battery bank. I charge it with solar only. That's the only thing I've charged it with so far out here. And again, because Utah has so many beautiful sunny days, it hasn't really been an issue. I am currently charging it now, and let's see, there are some high clouds, so it's probably not bringing in the ultimate amount of watts. So right now it's at 96 watts that it's bringing in. It was bringing in close to 150 earlier when the sun was a little bit more powerful. But I have not had an issue thus far with power. Currently at this campsite, I do have cell service. So in areas where I have cell service, I oftentimes utilize my phone as a hotspot if I need to upload a video. But when I do not have cell service, I have to rely on my Starlink. This is the router here. I just plug it into this bad boy for as long as I need it, and then I usually unplug it because it does draw quite a bit of power. So I don't want it draining all of my power, but it's all been working out really, really well. They do make a DC to DC charger for the Bluetti. I think it's called the Charger 1, that I can hook directly to my battery in the truck and run it through my truck so that I can power up these items like the power bank and the refrigerator while I'm driving, and I understand that they work great. And if I do get in a situation where I have mini cloudy days, I can just drive around for a little bit and have everything charged right back up. Let's talk about how the inside of the truck camper shell is working out. I am happy to report that it is just as cozy as I had hoped it would be when I initially put it together. I really enjoy this space. I feel very comfortable in it. It is a no build, let me mention that. So if you had not watched the truck camper tour, the initial tour, this is all no build. This is a cot that I have a 4-inch mattress, which is actually probably a 3-inch mattress. It's just one that I got off of Amazon. On top, I have a down comforter as well as a wool blanket on top of me and underneath me, and it has been warm. As I mentioned, I've not really had to utilize a heater. I've just used it in the evening sometimes to warm things up before I go to bed, and then sometimes in the morning. But this setup has kept me really warm, and it is comfortable. I've slept so well in here. I know a lot of people are concerned about me running a heater in here. I also use this little table for the 1-burner stove if I'm in here making coffee. So I keep my heater on here when I'm using my heater, or the stove on here when I'm using the stove. And I do have a carbon monoxide detector right here. I also keep the windows open and cracked at least so that there's enough ventilation coming through. Sometimes I have this whole back hatch open when I'm utilizing those things. And I do have a fire extinguisher tucked right back here. Earlier in the video, I mentioned how I was going to initially keep my food under the bed, but I decided not to. So right now I just have clothing, and I keep all of my clothing in these little cubes. It's very well organized. I've got undies in here, socks in here. I've got pants in this one, and I have tops in this one, and that's been working out really well. I only brought enough clothes for about a week and a half to 2 weeks, I guess, if I stretch it, and then I'll have to do laundry and wear the same things all over again. Back here I have these 2 storage ottomans, and I utilize them exactly how I initially intended to. This one has all of my toiletries, my towels for taking showers and things like that, and this one has shoes. Been working out muy bueno. The curtains also are doing their job. They provide a lot of privacy. They keep things warm because they are thermal insulated blackout curtains. So it does provide a little bit of insulation, and I think they look pretty nice. It is minimal, simple, and uncluttered in this space, and that's exactly how I wanted it. It is a cozy space, especially because I have had days where I have been stuck back here because of wind. Also, I spend time working back here if I'm not sitting up at the cab office, and I sit on my computer back here, and it has been a cozy, comfortable space. Another item that has been a hit is this toilet. It folds down this flat, sets up really easy, just unfolds. There's your seat, there's your lid, and you obviously put a bag in here. So it came with bags and also this powdered form gel. So you put that inside the bag, and when you go number one, it takes the liquids and gels it up. And I have not used it with the privacy tent that it came with so far. It did come with a big green privacy tent. So far I've not used the tent because it's been so windy, you really can't set it up. But I do put it right back here. It's here if I have an emergency or for those cold nights where I don't want to climb out of the back of the truck. And I have used it for that purpose. This is definitely a winner. And one more note on the toilet topic. So far, if I have to go number two, if I'm out at a place like this, I just go dig a cat hole 6 to 8 inches deep and make sure I pack out my toilet paper and just go that way. If I'm in a campground, obviously most campgrounds have bathrooms. So far, I would say the positives definitely outweigh the negatives out here in this setup. I have made some notes, so in summary, I'll kind of just go over what's working and what's not working. Let's start with what's not working. The fact that there's no 12 volt in the truck, so I can go ahead and work around that with the DC to DC charger, which hopefully I can get one of those soon. The little stove isn't as impressive as I thought it would be, but I think with the wind guard, it might work out just fine. I have not used the 5-gallon propane tank, which I think I will use, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep that. Not cooking inside, that's just a preference for me, but it does make things more complicated when the weather's bad and I can't get out to my outdoor kitchen and make something to eat. I may end up breaking that rule at some point, but as of right now, I can work around that. Sometimes things are a little awkward, like having to charge the refrigerator inside the back of the truck, closing the window on the cable, breaking the cable. Living this way does require moving things around quite a bit, which can be kind of a hassle at times and annoying. There was a day that I was really frustrated. That whole thing with the refrigerator slamming on my hand and also breaking the cable all happened in one day. It was really windy out, I was stuck in back, and that was a frustrating day where it didn't seem so fun living this way. But again, I think the positives so far have outweighed the negatives. What has worked great and I've been so impressed with is the solar is working fantastic. I've had lots of sun, so that's been fantastic. The power bank and my power system working just fine. I'm able to work, get my work done, get my videos uploaded for you all. So that's been fantastic. The little toilet I bought, I would recommend that to anybody on the road, or even if you are just traveling long distances and you might need to pull over for an emergency. It's worth having one of those. I haven't mentioned showers, but I have been able to utilize showers along the way, and I have been out here for about a month now, and I've been able to get 1 shower per week, which is just fine for when you live out here, you live this way. I know that's not something that some people can deal with, is just 1 shower per week, but for me, it's just fine. I was able to utilize a wellness center in Blanding, Utah. It was $6 for the shower. Here in this area, they rent showers at several facilities. So showers have not been a problem. I do have a portable camp shower that I may take on another extended long trip, as well as that tent, that privacy tent I was talking about, that's supposed to house the toilet, which I can also utilize as a shower tent. Just haven't used that yet, haven't needed to. And my little cab office has worked out just great. I do end up working back here most of the time, but it's not that comfortable. My back will start to hurt. So having the option to go sit upright in the driver's seat of the truck is fantastic, having that option. It's just amazing to me, all the little gadgets that they make that make life easier out here. And I'm taking advantage of them, that's for sure. So the big question is, will I continue to travel this way? I absolutely will. That does not mean that I will not take my trailer out on certain adventures. In fact, I am planning on going to Montana and Wyoming, the Yellowstone area, where there are grizzly bears, and I'm thinking that for that adventure, I might want to have my trailer just to have more protection. I mean, obviously a bear could break into that, but it's less time me being outside of my vehicle and not feeling so trapped inside. At night, I would definitely want to be sleeping with this closed, and that's going to make things pretty tight in there in the summertime when it's hot. So in areas where maybe wild animals are a concern, I might want to have my trailer. But I am having a great time out here in this setup, traveling fast and loose. I've traveled down so many roads that I would not have traveled on with my trailer. I would probably not be at this campsite right now if I had my trailer. So it opens up a lot of camping options for me, and I'll continue to do it for sure. And if you're wondering where my trailer is, I do have a home base where I keep my trailer, and that way I can pick it up anytime I'd like to. I've had a lot of people comment that they could never live in a space this small, and it is not for everyone. I can say without a doubt that for the last month I have truly enjoyed it, other than one day of being frustrated. I hope you found this video useful, helpful, interesting, informative. If so, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. Go back and check out my adventures over the last month in this setup. It's been an awesome ride. That's going to do it for this one. I will see you all on the next adventure. See you soon, everybody. Bye-bye.